Do you guys mind if I share something that's a little bit open and sad about my life? I have been going through it this past little bit of time because I feel like everybody started the new year with a whole bunch of fear of the unknown, and that's been super stressful. And then we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of a loved one's death. I'm just having a hard time taking care of myself. I feel like I need a craft this week that is going to not stress me out, and that it's going to just be something that is comforting and warm. And what better than a blanket? Because it's winter time. Who doesn't want a blanket? Obviously, we're gonna crochet it. We're gonna hand crochet this blanket, and it's gonna be a relaxing time. If you are needing a little bit of self-care this week as well, I highly recommend that you make your own blanket and we can do it together and be each other's body doubles. So the reason why I wanted to get into hand crocheting is because I kept seeing these like massively fuzzy like yarn blankets that were super trendy a couple years ago, and I always wanted to make one and I never actually did. So it's a good time to do it. I did research a tutorial before starting this blanket because I just want to make sure that like I have the way to do it down, so I'll be linking that down below. But I'm also going to be explaining how to do it on this video. If what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, feel free to check out the video down in the description. If you're also needing some self-care, or if you are just wanting to make a blanket, grab some yarn and let's get going. Okay, first things first, yarn. My blanket is going to be primarily white, just because I don't know. I like this color and I think it would look cute and like clean. But I'm then gonna be mixing it with purple as like a bit of an accent here and there because I really also love the color purple and I think it would look really cute to combine these two together. I did get this yarn from Walmart because it was cheap and whatever. So they do sell big fluffy yarn there, but I also imagine they sell it at literally any craft store. For this particular project, since we are hand crocheting, I really, really recommend that you go through and find not just fluffy yarn, but you also find yarn that you like the texture of. Because if you're like me, I'm super picky about textures. I don't like things to be touching my skin very often, and you're gonna wanna find yarn that you can comfortably touch with your hands, because not only are you gonna be touching it a lot while you're making it, it's then gonna be something that like you're cuddling with. So you really wanna make sure that you like this texture. Okay, let's talk about how to actually hand crochet. Because the thing is that it's fairly simple once you get the hang of it, but there is absolutely a period of time where you're like, wait, what am I doing with my hands? It's totally fine. Let me walk you through it. Okay, first up, this is an old blanket that I already own. Excuse me, Miss Rose. And I am wanting to make my new blanket to be the exact same size as this older blanket. It might end up being a little bit smaller because yarn's expensive, but we're gonna see. Okay, so when you start crocheting, the first thing you want to do is you want to make a slip knot, and that essentially is literally just a knot. I like to wrap it around my fingers, cross over and make a little X. Then I reach into this loop, grab this guy, and that's a slip knot. Then you want to readjust to make this a good whatever size loop you want to make the blanket in. So for me, that's probably about that size, which is about a finger's length, a little bit smaller, but around there. Then you just want to lay it down on the ground with the working yarn going this way, and then you literally just reach into your slip knot, grab the thread, pull it through, and that's your next chain. Then you reach through, pull it through, and you just keep doing that.
We are now at the end of the chain, and it's time to turn back the other way and start the next round. So what you want to do is you take this little chain right here, and then you're literally going to grab the working yarn and pull it up, but instead of continuing horizontally, you pull up vertically. Then this loop's already done. There's these little ridges right here, counting over, that are half of the chain. So this one's already done because that's what is coming out of this guy. You're gonna take the working yarn and you're gonna go through this next loop. Grab the yarn, pull it up to be about the same height as this one. And then you're gonna grab the next one and then continue going down until you reach the other end. Okay, so for this third round, it's pretty much the same thing. You just have this last chain and you're just going to pull the thread through there and then keep going. I find it easier to do it, to alternate doing it with my left hand dominant versus my right hand dominant, going in the direction, depending on the direction that I'm heading in, because it just makes my life easier.
You know what I just realized? It would work significantly better for filming and for my back purposes to work on my desk rather than the floor. So now we're gonna work up here. Okay, so I've officially reached the end of this skein. So the way that you're going to attach these two ends together is you're literally just gonna kind of tie them like a shoe, like a good solid double knot. And then you just pull that as tight as you can, and then you just cut off the little extra bits as close as you can to avoid any like unnecessary bulk. Those two pieces go bye-bye. And this is what, there's like a little knot, but if you notice, it's not coming apart. So.
I'm now gonna switch over to the purple yarn. I think I'm gonna do 2, maybe 3 rows of purple. Then we'll switch back to the white, and then we'll do a couple rows of white, and then 1 other row of purple, and then we'll do most of the rest of the blanket white, and then we'll do another purple, white, purple, and then finish off the blanket in white. Remember how I said I was only gonna do 2 or 3 rows? I ended up doing 5, and I'm really loving how that's looking. So now we gotta switch back to the white, and I'm not sure how much white I wanna do. I again wanna say like 3 rounds. I think we'll eyeball it, and then we switch back to the purple, do another 5, because I know I want that to be even, and then we'll stick with white for like 7 more years. I know that I mentioned that I was looking for like some self-care in form of crafting, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been so just like peaceful but repetitive, and so I don't like need to use my brain. I can just like go through the motions and get it done. To be totally honest, it has been very relaxing. And if you're looking at this blanket and going, dang, this is so cute, I want one, because who wouldn't look at it? It's so cute. Feel free to grab some yarn and start doing it. We can have a party together, you know? Have some self-care together.
I am back onto the white. I'm kind of super digging how this purple came out. I think it looks so cute. It's also like such a nice texture, and I'm loving that. One thing that somebody did recommend is that obviously this is now spilling over the table, and they were like, when it gets to that point, just fold it up while you continue working and roll it so that way it like stays manageable and I'm not drowning in fluff. I did divide my white yarn in half, so I have so many skeins. I think I've got 12, to be honest. So I currently have like 6 up on my bed, and then the ones that I'm using right now on the floor, and that'll give me a good indicator of when I'm halfway. Then I can like know how big this blanket's actually gonna be, because I actually have no idea lengthwise what we're looking at, to be honest. But I am really, really loving how this is turning out so far, and I think this is gonna be so good. What do you guys like to do for self-care? I know that like there's people who like to do face masks, or they just shower, or they just like going to bed is self-care. I don't know. For me personally, my self-care is being creative, because although being creative and like physically doing something does in fact take some spoons from me, it replenishes more than it takes. Especially when it's something like this, because I had to learn the movement once, and I now just do it over and over and over again. And since this yarn is so big, I can like see a physical change happening before me, so I feel good, like I'm accomplishing something, and then I'm being creative. So this really is my form of self-care, but I definitely could use some more, because I just know that I'm going through it right now. So if anybody has any self-care things that they like to do, please let me know down in the comments. You know, let's all help each other and get through these unprecedented times together. Okay guys, we are officially about halfway through the blanket, so I'm gonna call it here for tonight, and I will see you tomorrow morning.
Hello and good morning. So I currently have the blanket extra rolled, and I added 2 dinner trays to the side of my desk because it was hanging off over on the side a lot, and I was realizing that was stretching out some of the middle stitches. So it's now fully propped up and supported, and I'm just gonna be leaning a lot, and that's perfectly fine with me. I know I didn't talk a ton yesterday, and to be totally honest, it's because I'm doing the exact same movement over and over and over and over and over, and there isn't much to talk about in terms of this. So, sorry for not talking a ton. Hopefully you weren't too bored, but onwards we go. I am about halfway, and I am very determined to get this done today. Do you guys like my mountain of blanket? Because I sure do. It's very comfy. It's like a very nice sturdy pillow, to be honest, because the yarn is so thick. It's very, very lovely. We are officially done with the white middle portion, so all that is left is the rows of purple, white, purple, and then finishing it off. So like that is how close we are. And I'm feeling real good about this. So we're gonna keep going. I'm so excited to be done with white for at least time, because like I think it's gonna look so good, but I'm so tired of crocheting the exact same color. I like things that are different, so I'm very excited to move on to purple. I do have just a little bit of the first skein of purple left, so we're gonna first use this and then we'll switch up to my new skein just because I don't want to have this as a leftover. So excited that we are in the home stretch. Okay guys, we are finally onto the last purple section. So I'm gonna do 5 rows of that, and then we finish off with the white section, and then that's literally it. I'm starting to feel myself losing some motivation, which is totally fine and normal. I know that like imagining that I'm at the end of the project is helping me, but also it's totally fine to take breaks and like give yourself 5 minutes away from the project and then come back to it, because I mean, this whole blanket's supposed to be about self-care, and I don't want to stress myself out over it, but I also want to get it done. So there's a bit of give and take there. Okay, we are finally on the last strip of white, which I believe is 10 rows. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will talk you through how to finish off a lovely blanket that is, I think, taller than me at this point. So I sure hope it's taller than me, or I'm gonna be very disappointed. We are officially at the last row. We are here. We've made it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired. My back's hurting. So I'm so excited to get this done. For the last row, and this is very, very important, you are going to want to make the little loops just a little bit bigger. So mine right now are about 1.5 inches. So I'm probably going to want to make them 2 to 2.5 inches for the last row. And the reason why will become very apparent once we finish up this last row. Okay guys, so for this last part, I figured I'd just physically show you while I talk to you so that way it can make the most sense. The reason why we made these loops a little bit bigger than the previous loops is because we are going to create a fake chain effect. So you did to take the first loop and the second loop, feed the second loop through the first loop. Okay, one more time. Take both of them, literally just put the second one in the first one. Then you're gonna take the third one, put it through the second one, and you're just gonna keep going all the way down. Okay guys, all that is left is to tuck in my ends, my 2 ends. But let's go over how this project has been, and then I'll show you the reveal. Overall, this project has been actually really fun. I was really hoping for a project that would be very meditative and like the same thing over and over again, and I freaking got it, you guys. This blanket is absolutely massive. And I am absolutely obsessed with it, not gonna lie. I really, really am happy with how it turned out. I think it turned out so, so cute. I definitely got better as I went along. I started with being a little bit tighter on the ends and a little bit looser in the middle, and as the blanket went on, it got a little bit worse, so I had to like go back and restart a part. But it wasn't too bad. But besides that, I think I did pretty well, and especially by the end, if you look at all of my stitching, it all looks fairly consistent. And so I'm very pleased with how that turned out. I will say I definitely made the chains on the end of the blanket too small, so I'm gonna have to iron it out to like make it sit a little bit nicer. So when I said 2 to 2.5 inches, I would do more like 3. Besides that, I really, really like how this blanket turned out. I'm super satisfied with the fact that I feel like I've accomplished something, and I've accomplished something that's gonna like be seen and visible, and it's super comfy and soft and warm and pretty much everything I could want out of a big fuzzy blanket. This blanket's also longer than my whole wingspan, so needless to say, it is perfect for 2 people. And overall, I'm really, really happy with this blanket. If you liked this video and you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to comment down below and let me know. And feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday, and I am always working on a fun little craft. I'll see you guys next time, and without further ado, let's go into the review.